With the powerful combination of Michelin X1 tires and the Michelin Energy Guard aerodynamic solution on your truck, you can save 17 gallons every 1,000 miles. Go to business.michelinman.com/fuel saver for details.
We're talking about podcasts. We're talking about itty bitty podcasts. A podcast.
Merry Mini Monday, Chunkies. I'm Carter.
I'm Doge.
I'm Jordan. It was a honky-tonky mini Monday.
It was a honky-tonky. I was like, man, I'm so glad he didn't do the high note at the end, and then you did.
I did it. I sure did
And
it.
so I tried.
So that means this one has to be Mini Mundee, right?
Mini
it's not
Monday.
Mini Monday.
Mini
Monday.
It's Mini Mandy.
Ting. Welcome to Mini Monday. This is an old-fashioned Mini Monday.
It sure is.
This is the real deal. We are in between universes right
sepia
now.
tone.
The sepia tone with like the burnt edges a little bit because no one really can finish burning the wanted posters in the Old West. We are in between Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Spoiler alert, now it's Captain America and the Winter Soldier and Loki. We've got some weeks in here to just dive back into our old ways. You know, some people were excited about it. Maybe some people are discouraged that we're back in our old ways, but you can't change chunks. You know how
Look,
it is?
we're back on our grind one way or another, so.
Yeah. One way or another.
I don't know.
We're either doing that thing you hate or the thing you love.
We're always back on our grind. I want to jump straight into a game that we play often that doesn't always feel like a game. It just has a title, so we call it a game. But let's do a little bit of Rank You Very Much on the subject of freshly coming out of the second television show for the MCU. We are in the middle, not in the middle. These are both the beginnings of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. And so looking ahead to Phase 4, I would love to know you guys, going from 3 to 1, all three of us, let's talk about what are our top 3 most anticipated projects coming to the MCU. And I'm going to tie in a little bit of in the news here. It was just announced recently that the wonderful Alamo Drafthouse, which had filed for bankruptcy and closed all of its doors, is on its way back.
Yeah, baby.
In fact, the Dallas locations, those being Richardson and Cedars, which is close to all these pod boys, will be opening back up, phasing back open in June. So they'll be back. We'll have those movie theaters. And so we will have those opportunities to watch.
You know I'm going to go sit in that theater.
Almost every element of the MCU. I'm pretty sure I've seen every MCU movie in theaters. I think I might have seen all of them, and I tend to continue to do that. But for now, Jordan, how about you give me your number 3? And if we have any of these that overlap, we'll spend some time talking about that together. But otherwise, let me know, and then let me know what you're excited about with that.
Sure. What are you least most excited for?
Sure. Well,
3 of the 25 Phase 4 projects.
That's the thing. There's so many that I am excited for that picking 3 was a little bit tough just because there's so much that I am pumped about. But there are 3 that kind of stand out for me. With number 3 being Fantastic Four. It's just been it's been a long time coming, I feel like. To get a good one. And to see what the MCU can do with these characters. This feels like the next thing. Shang-Chi's going to be awesome. Eternals is going to be awesome. I'm very excited about both of those things. We've got sequels coming up that I'm pumped about. But Fantastic Four feels like the closest that I feel to knowing Spider-Man was going to pop up in Civil War and be like, what is their interpretation going to be of these characters? So I'm really excited about it.
I actually heard it's a sequel to Fan 4 Stick, though.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's Fan 5 Stick.
Fan 5 Stick.
Yeah.
There is such a collective anticipation for that everyone's already expecting Reed Richards in WandaVision. Right. The moment someone said Fantastic Four was coming, they're like, okay,
what's going to be the next Easter egg?
Boy, that brick wall looks familiar. Does it have eyes? That's great. My number 3 is the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
I think there's also a rumor that this is going to be horror vibes, which makes
I've heard that
sense. Yeah, which makes sense to me, and I'm totally down for. I think when Doctor Strange was first introduced into the MCU, having his first like feature film, it was a moment where they could kind of flex, kind of like how they've now flexed with WandaVision and be like, okay, we're going to take you somewhere completely different. You know, the Dormammu fight, right? The fact that he's got him in a time loop and that's how he wins. And we watch Doctor Strange die millions of times on screen. You know, it's just stuff that just kind of really literally expanded the universe for me. And so I'm excited to see now that there are successes in a multiverse, you know, vibe. And we're going to have that with Loki too. I'm just excited to see how they can push it even further because I know they can. Like, I know it's going to be really good. And I think quietly, Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange is one of the best castings of the entire MCU. Doge, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Thor 4, more Thor. Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yes.
I'm very, very excited for this movie.
That's my number 1.
That's my number 1 as well.
It's basically going to be another Thor plus a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Essentially,
and it's just going to be really fun.
Taika, baby.
It's going to be so fun.
Taika.
Yeah.
Undyingly love Taika.
And you get to also mix in a little bit of like Christian Bale villain. Like
the thing that keeps it at number 3 for me, that doesn't put it at 2 or 1, is Natalie Portman's return. I am excited to see her get material she's excited to work with. But boy, that's a kind of a writing hole, right? How do you bring Jane Foster back like 10 years after we saw her last?
Yeah, I agree with that part. But I feel like if anybody can do it, it's Taika, and Natalie Portman is fantastic. I don't know, man. It's for sure like kind of by a good stretch my most anticipated.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because prior to Ragnarok, if you told me that my most anticipated movie would be a Thor movie, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
We're bringing in Oscar winners. We've got Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, and then we've got recently announced Russell Crowe as Zeus.
Yeah.
So
wow.
There's just a lot of fun stuff going on.
I read a thing that apparently Russell Crowe and Hemsworth have become such good friends while they're shooting this that they're now working on Gladiator 2 with Hemsworth playing Crowe's son.
What?
For real? I already knew Gladiator 2.
Came back from being burned up, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say his dead son?
Yeah, that was already in the works with Ridley Scott. I think we talked about that back in Chooser's Choice. That was a project of his far down the road, but here we are, far down the road.
Here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited for Love and Thunder. Just seeing it show up on the screen and the name of it is like, okay, this is fully Taika.
Cool.
And Ragnarok was fully Taika without us totally knowing it yet before we saw it.
Yep.
But now we're like, let's just do this. That's awesome. Jordan, there's only one left for you. What's your number 2?
That's true. Yeah, my number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
It would be number 1 if it weren't for the anticipation of Thor. But yeah, man, I mean, I've loved both of the MCU Spider-Man movies. I think Tom Holland is fantastic, and I'm so excited to see where this kind of overall arc goes, man. It's just, I'm so pumped about this movie.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how they're going to make all these connections. It feels in a very Peter Parker fun way, messy right now.
Yeah, right.
There's so many names and so many like just assumptions of what's going to happen. I feel like no one's right. I feel like Feige knows no one's right and he's having really fun with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's wild. My number 2 and my last on this list. So that means number 3 was Multiverse. Number 1 is Love and Thunder. Number 2 for me is Mahershala Ali as Blade.
I forgot that's coming.
That's still very much going to happen. I don't know if it's exactly a phase 4. I don't know if there was clarity on that's in the upcoming phase, but I'm so down. I am such a fan of the Wesley Snipes vape. The Wesley Snipes Blade movies.
There you go.
Hold a special place in my half vampire, half human heart. And so, but I think it just needed to wait until this man existed. I think he's right. I don't know if y'all seen the Wesley Snipes Blade movies?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Mahershala is. Wouldn't you just watch him for
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
multiple hours slicing up some vamps.
Yes, very much.
So I'm really excited.
I mean, I watched him in True Detective a few years ago for multiple hours doing stuff way less interesting than slicing up vampires. So of course,
right? He was just having a hard time remembering stuff. And
exactly. He was trying to think, and I was loving it. Imagine if he's got a sword and there's vampires.
Doge, we'll wrap up. Rank you very much with you. We still have your number 2 and number 1. Yeah.
Well, we've already talked about it. I didn't know we were spilling the beans whenever somebody else mentioned it. My number 2 is Multiverse of Madness, and it would not even have been in these top 3 had WandaVision not been exactly my flavor that I was looking for. But now I'm super, super amped for that. My number 1, obviously, you guys know, anybody who knows me knows, my number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
I guess my love for the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies is sort of immune to criticism. I know they're not good, but I love them very much. I think that Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker that we've gotten, and I think Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man that we've gotten, and I think Tom Holland is the best Peter Spider-Man duality that we've gotten. Probably the best superhero movies that we've gotten, though not maybe the best Spider-Man stories, but if all reports are to be believed, they're going to be kind of taking 3 of my favorite ingredients and making me a brand new meal out of them, so I'm very, very excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be
You think Andrew
so good.
Garfield's a better Spider-Man than Tom Holland?
I think those are better Spider-Man stories than Tom Holland. And I think the Tobey Maguire are better Peter Parker stories than Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland is better superhero stories than either of those.
I think what's great about this is that little tease, Chunkies, this is a conversation that we will have.
Yeah, we'll have time to talk about that.
In the not too distant future, a much deeper dive into these iterations of Spidey. On the topics of some of these new actors being introduced in the phases, in phase 4, it's not just, it's not a chicken or the egg situation, but it's like, is MCU just so vast that they happen to have a lot of Oscar winners, or do they just only go out and pick people that seem to be like legitimate Oscar talent type actors? With Christian Bale, and who knows what role Zeus is going to have with Russell Crowe. And then we talked about Mahershala Ali. That's an Oscar winner. And so real quickly, going back into the news, the Oscars happened recently, and it was quite an Oscars for MCU. We had Daniel Kaluuya win. We had Chloe Zhao, who's going to be directing the Eternals, win. We had Odin waking up from his what is his sleep called?
The Odin sleep.
The Odin sleep.
He wakes up from the Odin sleep after the Oscars because he wasn't there in person because he was in Odin sleep. Wakes up to give a thank you from the Welsh countryside, kind of look like Asgard, to say, hey, appreciate that.
That is where they shot Asgard.
That is where they shot it.
Like the cliffs in Thor 3.
Oh, it was just probably like right outside his house. I didn't even think of that.
He was like, we could come to my backyard.
Get the bag, man. Congrats on the money. You just woke up and kind of half woke up. They told you not to fully wake up. And you did real good. It's time to play another game. And this is one we haven't played in a while. Shout out to our Discord chat. I was talking about, someone had brought up what their favorite games were. And then someone pulled this one. I was like, I had that feeling in my soul that I didn't quite have every Horcrux identified. And then here was A Star Was Born. So let's play that old classic. It has not been, I don't think it's been played in 2021.
That's probably true.
Certainly not.
That's probably
certainly
true.
not.
For those of you that have not, and that's funny that there actually might be people that haven't heard of this game because it hasn't been played this year. But A Star Was Born, I'm going to name 3. I'm not going to name them. I've done that before. We're going to have 3 different actors or actresses that we are only going to guess who they are based off of these boys' random shots at their credits. I'll name the age of this person, and it's going to be their birthday. That's why they're already on the game. So we'll hear who was born on this day, how many credits they have. These boys will pick 3 of those credits, and based off of those random shots, try and guess who the actor, the star that was born on that day. Our first star, we don't have, so TikTok celebrity is just really kind of taking over the internet.
We can't.
May 3rd, Monday is a special day for TikTok. evidently a lot of famous TikTokers were born on May 3rd. I've got no big actors for that, but I have one for May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Star Wars Day. Yoda. That's Yoda's birthday.
That's Yoda's birthday. We have a birthday for you. And this actor will be turning this coming Tuesday with the release of our Big Hero 6 episode. He was born in 1970. So that means he will be turning 51 years of age. And he has 117 credits.
Whoa. Okay.
And we'll only be doing 116 of those.
Okay. You want to do like 110?
Yeah.
Something sort of recent, but not cutting edge.
I would even maybe say even 105, because if he's pumping him out at that rate, 110 might be like last week.
110 came out yesterday. Let's do 105.
105, the 2018 classic Show Dogs.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
At first I was like, that's the Cuba Gooding Jr. movie.
Dude, my brain also like
Snow Dogs.
So he hasn't
Snow
worked
Dogs?
in a minute.
No.
Show Dogs.
That was 105. What do we do? Like, he's gonna be. What if we do like 70
Yeah.
in honor of this gentleman's birth year?
Yeah.
1970. What if we do 70?
Yeah. Let's do 70.
70. Men in Black 3.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're not going to do that one. He's uncredited there. Uncredited.
So it's not Will Smith.
Yeah, right.
He's probably credited for that one, huh?
He's credited for that one. Despicable Me. Look at that.
Huh. Who would be in Despicable Me but uncredited for Men in Black 3?
Could be Will Arnett or Jason Segel. How old are they?
This feels the right age for them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wouldn't be like Russell Brand or something, huh?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. All right, so 70, way back 30, 40 movies ago, was only, 2010?
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah, so let's go for, what do you feel like about 9? Do you want to try and bullseye either Arrested Development or How I Met Your Mother, depending on which one we think it is?
I can't imagine the...
You want to go for like, how do you feel about 53? 51, that's their age.
51, yeah. Yeah, 51. That feels good to me.
51. Horton Hears a Who.
So these are all probably voice things, which tells me it's probably Will Arnett.
Or Steve Carell.
We have Horton Hears a Who, Despicable Me, and Show Dogs.
He's
Don't forget Show Dogs.
definitely older than 51, I think.
You think he's older than 51?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe. What do you think? He's like 60?
I don't know. Maybe he's not older than 51. I assumed he was.
I just know he's the tiny guy, the Who in Horton Hears a Who.
Steve Carell is?
Yeah.
Oh.
The non-Jim Carrey one, because Jim Carrey's the elephant.
Yeah. Well, I feel like he's probably older than 51.
Well, and if he was in Men in Black 3, he'd be credited for that, I think.
So I lean Will Arnett just because I know he does a ton of voice work. But
I think I do too.
With these credits, we know Steve Carell. We know for sure Steve Carell is in 2 of them.
Yeah.
What's our guess, boys?
I'm down to guess Steve Carell, actually.
Yeah, let's give Steve a shot. Steve Carell.
Happy 51st birthday to Will Arnett.
Yeah, that's how it goes, though. That's
Steve
usually
Carell
how it is.
Was born in 1962. He's 59. So, Doge, you were right. He's just about 60. He'll be 60 in August. So maybe he'll show up if we have a Star Wars born back then. But Will Arnett, y'all were there close. But that's really good on Show Dogs.
Wait, won't he be 59 in August?
Yeah, I know. No, 59, yeah. But he's still almost 60. Sorry, he's 58 right now.
Man, don't push him over that hill.
My bad.
Not until he's ready.
I think Steve Carell getting old might be one of the first stars to like really freak me out watching them age. Like mess with time in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder who that is for me.
Do we have another round of this?
Oh, yeah.
Well, before we do that, we do have to go for an ad break.
Okay. We have a Cinco de Mayo birthday
Ooh.
coming up for you. Born on Cinco de Mayo of 1983.
Okay.
This actor has 26 credits. 1983. So meaning on Cinco de Mayo, he will be turning
38, right?
38 years
Yeah.
old.
38.
26 credits. And we will count all 26 of them.
What if we do 24 in honor of the age I still wish I was?
Okay. Sure.
The 24th credit.
is weird.
The Witcher.
It's Hank.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many? 26 credits?
26 credits.
Let's do 26.
26. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
All right, you got one more.
One.
One.
His first credit, Squadron 42.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my favorite role of Henry Cavill's.
Of old Hanky Cavill.
It's Cavill, huh?
I think
Happy
so.
birthday. 38th birthday, Henry Cavill.
Mm.
Good job. And then finally, born May 6th,
The day
We have-
after.
another actor.
Man, I can't believe it's almost May right now. It's May already by the time this comes out.
Yeah, it is May.
Man,
Born
time flies when everything's terrible. It's just crazy.
Born May 6th of 1961. This will be his 60th birthday.
Okay.
He has 96 acting credits. And we will be looking at 93 of those.
Let's go 90.
Yep, I feel that too.
Catch 22,
Oops.
2019.
Uh-oh, don't know what that is.
Let's go.
You don't know what that is?
76.
It's a great book. 76. The Ides of March.
This is Clooney.
It's Clooney, huh?
Please say 75.
75.
75.
Nespresso. Cab driver.
It's Clooney. He's in those ads.
Happy 60th birthday
Wow.
to George Clooney.
I guess I thought he was already 60.
George Clooney will die hotter than I ever got to be. Also,
Yeah.
I've seen a good portion of George Clooney's work, but I don't know if I've taken enough time in my life to truly express my love for the Ocean's movies, specifically Ocean's 11. But
Yeah.
I love George Clooney as Danny Ocean so much.
It's such a vibe, man.
It really, really is.
You know, I've never
is.
seen an Ocean's movie.
Dude,
a
Ocean's
lie.
11.
I haven't. I really haven't.
rules. And
That's crazy.
there's always people that are like, the original with the Rat Pack is better. That's probably true. I don't care. I love, was it Steven Soderbergh, right? Yeah, I love
Yeah.
his Ocean's movies.
I want to do something with you guys right now.
Please.
And it's kind
Does
of
it make
selfish.
a podcast?
It's a podcast. It's kind of selfish, but I'm coming here to. This could be a recurring thing if we wanted to. But have you ever had the moment to where you're talking with somebody? It's usually a friend, and you have an argument over in the movie business. Like I'll tell you, this specific argument was between a couple of actors on who was more iconic. Okay.
Okay.
And so
This
if you ever
sounds
have
right
one of
up
those
my
and
alley.
people feel at two very separate ends. And so a lot of the times what we tend to do as human beings is the first people we go to for an opinion are the people that we assume will share ours. That's just a natural phenomenon, whether
Yeah.
we know we're doing it or not. And so for me, knowing that I have good close friends that I meet with weekly and we are pod boys that have done 200 movies together, I'm like, okay, fine. Let's just take it to court. You want to call it chunky court?
Yes.
Chunky court. Yeah.
What's
I love
tough
it.
though is y'all don't have to argue. I want to hear what y'all's general opinion was, but our argument was, do you want to know where I stood or not? I'm not going to tell you where I stood.
don't want to know
No,
where
no,
you
no.
stood.
No.
We had two actors, okay? and this is for you, Mike Trozo. We've had Mike Trozo on the pod before. We talked about Sky High with him. Real fun episode. Y'all should go find that. It was an extended mini Mundee because Mike was one of the main production
Guys, and we were
assistants
all sitting around the table, huh? That was
around
in
this very
person.
table. That was wild. Yeah.
Breathing each other's
was
air. Yuck.
Not a care in the world, man. Particles,
real quick.
particulates everywhere.
Can you guys even imagine being in the same room right now to record a podcast?
No, it sounds terrible to me.
Oh my gosh, I can't even picture that level of intimacy. That feels so inappropriate.
It's too strange.
Hey,
it's too strange.
Can I pitch real quick that during the segment of Chunky Court, Doge and I think it would be good for us to represent J&J Conflict Resolutions Incorporated.
That's fair. Yeah, I like it.
We settle all disputes.
J&J Conflict Resolutions Incorporated. I love it. So this came about. Let me paint the scene for you. We're watching the Oscars, and Harrison Ford had a great moment where he was reading off some of the editing notes about Blade Runner, and they were all pretty negative. But Ford comes up, and one of us mentions him truly being iconic. And then someone else would mention that Tom Cruise is more of an icon in terms of acting. And so then, but here's where I'll bring the argument fully. We talked about if you were just to ask anybody on the street, the top 5 biggest actors of all time, actors, males, would more of them have Harrison Ford up there? Would more of them have Tom Cruise up there? Or would it not even be, do neither of them make it? So that's what I present before the court. We have, it's Tom Cruise versus Harrison Ford in terms of icons. The actors versus the icons. I don't know what we call this case. It's all very new. But I would love to hear y'all's opinions here after initially hearing about this argument.
That's tricky because are those the same question? Like, is this person more iconic? Is that the same question as would people on the street list them as one of the top 5 actors of all time?
Well, hold on.
That was ultimately what... Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think what we're running into here is that Harrison Ford has played 2 of movies' biggest icons, but Tom Cruise is one of movies' biggest icons. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say I think you have to take the person into consideration, though. You know, like I don't know that we can say like Han Solo and Indiana Jones and Tom Cruise are Hollywood icons, because I think there's something to be said for the fact that people seem to genuinely like, in a grumpy old grandpa way, Harrison Ford, and I don't know that people genuinely like Tom Cruise.
The box office would disagree.
They like his movies, but I don't think they like him. You know what I mean?
You have to be liked to be an icon. I really don't. I think you're letting how much you love Harrison Ford.
So what makes an icon then? I think that's what we need to get to the bottom of.
I would say what came here, because I don't want to leave it fully to the two of you, where I came from to go ahead and bring this argument to the Chunky Court organically, was talking about Clooney. George Clooney feels like, to me, someone who will come up in a lot of people, maybe a majority of people's top 5 actors ever. Not their favorite actor.
Right.
Most famous, and fame and icon kind of seems to go together. But that's
because
why
I think that
Clooney.
list would probably be like Clooney, Brad Pitt, probably Christian Bale.
But DiCaprio. I think DiCaprio's up there before Bale.
Exactly.
I think Tom Cruise is on that list for a lot of people.
I think Tom Cruise is on that
Harrison
list.
Ford is even a name.
Then there's also
I agree.
De Niro.
But does that make him an icon over Ford? If he's like, does being on that list, does that mean you're an icon, or does that just mean you're one of the top 5 most famous guys?
I think it means you're an icon, at least in some ways. I think
Do
2
those mean
people
the
can
same
be
thing?
icons. You know, I just think that, at least by the definition of the question, I don't think Tom Cruise will ever touch anybody as iconic as Indy or Han Solo.
No.
But I do think that Tom Cruise is one of the most recognizable faces in the world.
Yeah, certainly.
One of the biggest box office draws in the world. Has played a number of iconic characters in his own right. I just think that based on the criteria of the question, it's got to go Tom Cruise. I don't even like Tom Cruise better than Harrison Ford. I think that Tom Cruise, and I like Tom Cruise as an actor. But yeah, I think it's got to go to him.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
There you go. It's settled.
Where did you come down on it, Carter?
It started with Ford for me, and then it kind of got redirected into like the top 5 thing, and I was like, okay. Yeah, Icon, I think the toughest part about all of it was Icon is just so diluted. It's so like vaguely defined as what that even means.
Well, it's really
Icon
Jaden
probably
Smith is the only icon living, as far as I
exactly.
know.
If our
Probably.
eyes aren't real, how can mirrors be real, guys? But
He's grown a lot since then, Doge.
I think Icon probably means something pretty different to the three of us who watch. I watch probably 2 or 3 movies a week usually, and talk about at least one of them for over an hour with my friends.
Right,
so
right.
I think that probably means something different to the person who watches one movie every 6 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. Snuck up on me.
Well, this was Carter's last episode because
He's
he's
dying
dead
right now on microphone.
He's dying.
His final words were,
Well, his final word was
Pilgrim.
to end this episode, let's look a little bit into the future here.
Yeah, please.
I mean, we talked about, we're just going to connect everything we talked about right now. We talked about Doctor Strange a little bit. That's a time stone. Let's look into the future. Let's talk about icons. What current actor do you feel like is outside of that top 5 that we feel like Harrison Ford might not even be on, that you think before their career is done will make it up there?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning they're going to have to boot out one of those people. Which, by the way, we also didn't mention Denzel Washington. He feels like
he'll be up there
Yeah.
for sure.
And I don't want to make it like an obvious one. I'm going to try and be a little risky here.
Yeah.
I'm Carter, and I think if he continues at this DiCaprio trajectory,
Oh, you're going to take mine?
he might even unseat him. But Timmy Chalamet,
That's what I
I
was
think
gonna
he's
say
got a
too.
shot. And it's because not only has he started so young, he's in great movies. He's been nominated for an Oscar. I think he's got a shot to get up there for that top 5.
This is just male identifying actors, correct? We're not talking about... Okay.
Yeah, we're just doing that based off
Yeah.
of what the court argument was in
Okay.
the first
Yeah,
place
yeah.
for this one.
I'm Doge, and I believe that if he keeps cranking out John Wick style roles,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Keanu could occupy a very Bruce Willis kind of space
Totally.
and begin to make his way toward that top 5.
Especially as international fame.
Yes.
He's a world box office guy.
yes. With
That's
such
a good
international hits as 47 Ronin, I think he could just really take it all the way.
Such offenses as 47 Ronin.
Just bombed. It bombed on every continent, which was perfect.
My heart says... I'm Jordan. My heart says Jake, but I just don't think he's blockbustery
No.
enough.
No, he's not.
I think that his are the not blockbustery movies. So
Yeah.
I'm torn here. I think where I'm landing though is Tom Hardy, because I think he's got the chops for the non-blockbusters, but I think he's got the star power and the draw for the Mad Maxes of the world.
Yep.
And I think that he could really do it. He's got the skill level to be up there with the best of the best. I mean, heck, he did. He held his own in Revenant with Leo. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
What was his latest project? Was it Dunkirk? Has he done something since
well,
then?
he's been working on Taboo, that TV show with his dad for a long time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Venom.
Venom. Yeah. Wow. Oof. Well,
I straight up forgot about that.
hey, my other answer though, for real, that I was weighing was Robert Downey Jr. because I think that he has carved such a legend for himself over the last 2 decades.
I think that's exactly right.
Okay, I think I've got the top 5. And y'all can at me. People, y'all can come at me. It's whatever. I'm in no particular order. George Clooney, Denzel Washington, Leonardo DiCaprio, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert De Niro.
I would honestly swap Clooney for Pitt in most people's eyes, I think.
Oh,
I think
wow.
so, too.
Pitt needs to be there. All right, don't at me.
In fact, I bet Robert De Niro is not up there for a lot of people. I'm not saying I'm not saying this deserves
Pitt
it.
instead of De Niro. Pitt instead of De Niro.
Yeah,
I think so.
And then that's a good 5.